Good morning. Can I be heard? Hello?
We can hear you.
Good. Thank you very much. I'll join back in a couple minutes and we get close to the time. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We are this is a special called election of or a special called meeting of the Georgia State Election Board for Wednesday, November 13th, 2025. It looks like we have a quorum in attendance today. I was notified by Member Jeffries last night that he'll be calling in. Director Mills, has he called in?
Mr. Chairman, it was my understanding he was going to call in through your phone when I spoke with him this morning.
Okay, well, he hasn't called yet, so let me try and call him and see if I can get him on the line then. All right, well, let me put you on loudspeaker then, and we'll begin the meeting, okay? All right. Are you there, Rick?
I'm here.
All right, so can everyone hear Member Jeffries?
I hear him.
Outstanding. So Member Jeffries is attending by phone. The rest of the members I see are online with us. So as I stated, this is a special called meeting of the Georgia State Election Board to consider two petitions, a petition by Cobb County. The petition by Cobb County is to waive the pre-certification meeting requirement for the Senate District 35 special election and municipal runoffs if necessary, and the runoff for the Senate District 35 special election if necessary. The second petition is presented by Ann Brumbaugh for Fulton County. It's petition for waiver of State Election Board Rule 183-1-12-.12F with regards to November 18th, 2025 Senate District 35 special election. Any comments from the board on this agenda for today?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make one comment. We approved Cobb counties, and then Fulton County came in after our board meeting.
Yes.
I think they should read exactly the same. I think you take Cobb County on their petition, strike it, and put it in Fulton, and just pass the same thing. That way, because it's the same election. Okay. And just make it all the wording the same.
Okay, when we get to the Fulton County, we'll deal with the Cobb County petition first, Member Jeffries, and then we will member Ann Brumbaugh, the attorney for Fulton County, is online, and we'll address that with her at the time since she's presenting that that petition, and also board member Julie Adams is online, I see, and so let's address that at the time if you don't mind with the Fulton County.
Perfect.
All right,
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
This is Vice Chair Johnston. I have a question.
Yes.
Yes, I've received two communications concerning an open records request for communications about this issue that have not been fulfilled. That there's a concern. There's just a concern that there's not transparency in fulfilling an open records request regarding communications with this. Is there perhaps a response from Cobb or Fulton about these communications that they could assist the state election board with?
Right. Yes, I'm happy to address that, Mr. Chair or Vice Chair, whoever, if you want to recognize. I'm Daniel White. I'm the attorney for Cobb County.
Please proceed then.
Yeah, I think Mr. Meadows is probably reaching out to the board. As you know, Cobb County was running two elections simultaneously at the end of October. During that week, this individual, Mr. Meadows, I believe, filed 6 or 7 separate open records requests back on consecutive days. Staff, because we're having an acting director, different roles within the elections department have changed in terms of who responds to those. They asked me to step in, but this is not my only client, and so I steered them back onto the path. We gave him an estimate. He accepted the estimate at the end of last week, but frankly, there's attorney-client privilege emails in there. They've just been provided to me yesterday afternoon, and so I was going to review them today and provide them to him. I have no problem giving him any non-attorney-client privilege communications, and it's just not going as fast as he wanted, but it was happened to hit Cobb County at possibly their busiest time ever in terms of running two elections. They had that overlap of advanced voting the week before the municipals and the PSC, and we're running this SD 35 advanced voting the first week of that, and also trying to make multiple changes to precincts for precincts that weren't available for all these additional elections that we're having to run in November and December. So I've explained to Mr. Meadows that, that his responses are I think he's just upset that they're not going as fast as he wants, but they were pretty detailed, some of them, and I'm having to review at least the email ones for attorney-client privilege communications.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Mr. White. Do you review all of the ORRs?
I don't like if it's just if an individual is asking for like data or for just general ballots and things like that, I don't we have staff members that handle those, but when they ask for communications, I have staff. Well, first, Cobb County's IT department does the first run and produces the emails. Then election staff does another run because I don't charge for my time. I can't. You can't charge for the attorney's time in open records review, so I try not to do it. But there are some matters that end up where if my client's asking me for legal advice on something, then I have to review the 50 something batches of emails that I sent. There's probably going to be a handful of them that are attorney client, and it's on me. And I've explained to Mr. Meadows that he would get them by today.
Oh, thank you very much for those answers. I have a question, Mr. Chair, for a Cobb board member that presented this. Was it Ms. Fisher?
Would you want do you want Fulton County to respond pertaining to the open records request?
If there's somebody from Fulton County that
Miss Brumbaugh is online. Miss Brumbaugh, would you like to?
Oh, okay. I don't see her.
You don't see my beautiful face?
I do
on your
not.
screen?
Yes.
Oh, I do now. Thank you.
Okay, much better. Member Johnston, Fulton has a sort of a different structure of, attorney responsibilities, and open records requests are not my responsibility. So I haven't been involved in that open records request, and I couldn't speak to it. So you'd have to reach out to the Fulton County Attorney's Office and speak to the person who's handling that open records request.
Okay, and they're not on this call, I take it?
No.
Okay.
For the record, open records requests are also not the responsibility of the state election board, so we don't have any official oversight capacity in this.
Okay. Member Johnson, did you have a question for Ms. Fisher, I guess?
Right. If we're considering the Cobb County petition, I'd like to ask Ms. Fisher what certification materials she will have to review.
Member Johnson, I had asked our executive assistant this morning if she could put up the petition online. Are you able to do that?
I do have the petition.
Well, I want to on the screen so that people could see it.
Sure. That would be great.
Yeah.
John, I did not put the specific documents in the petition that I'm requesting. Unlike Fulton County Board, I don't have a problem getting the documents that I request.
No, Ms. Fisher, I'm asking our executive director and our executive assistant if they're able to put your petition on the screen so that we could all look at it. Discuss
okay.
it.
I'm working on that.
Okay, you're working on it?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So you'll put up when you can. Okay. If you want to proceed then.
Okay. The documents that I request that I think are responsive to doing due diligence on an election, I do get the SOVC report. I get a summary report. I get both numbered lists, one from No Inc., which is, according to the Secretary of State, the official numbered list. I get the Jarvis numbered list, which is basically the voter history report out of Jarvis. And I think there's one more that I get. And it eludes me. That may be it. So those are the documents that I request and the documents that we get for the pre-cert meetings on each election.
Ms. Fisher, do you get the poll books or the qualified list of voters?
Yeah, that's the numbered list.
No, I'm talking about the voter,
Oh, the electors list?
the electors list, yes.
No, I have not requested that. I'm sure I would receive it if I did.
Correct. So part of the canvas is to look at who voted and compare it to make sure that those voters are on the electors list.
Oh, that I do on my own because I do receive a monthly voter roll from the Secretary of State.
That's great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chair, I have no further questions.
Ms. Fisher, could you, since you submitted this petition, could you, for the record, just read off the petition?
I can actually, and you might be able to let me share my screen and I can pull it up. It won't be the one that you entered into the portal. It'll be the one I submitted, but I can read it.
Okay.
Petition to the Georgia State Election Board, request to add matter to upcoming agenda. Introduction. With the resignation of Senator Estevez, Governor Kemp called for a special election to take place on November 18th to fill the vacancy in Senate District 35, rather than combining it with November 4th PSC and municipal elections. Due to the timing of the election being 2 weeks apart and the possibility of runoff elections for both the municipal on December 2nd and the Senate District 35 race on December 16th, Cobb County Board of Elections and Registration will be required to hold up to 4 election day meetings, 4 pre-cert meetings, and 4 election certification meetings during the months of November and December. While the election night and basis for my request, while the election night and election certification meetings are required by statute, the pre-certification meetings are only required by SEB Rule 183-1-12.12F. Because certification and pre-certification meetings for Senate District 35 special election and the potential municipal and Senate district runoff would occur in close proximity to Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays, Cobb BOER respectfully requests a temporary waiver of the in-person pre-certification meeting for those elections, allowing certification materials to be transmitted electronically rather than during an in-person meeting as referenced in SCB Rule 183-1-12.12F. Request for relief. Cobb Board of Elections and Registration respectfully requests that the Georgia State Election Board formally place this matter on the agenda for discussion with a future vote for approval at your next scheduled meeting or at a special call meeting if it's necessary prior to Senate District 35 election. After discussion in the 15-day publishing period, Cobb BOER requests that you vote to waive the pre-certification meeting requirement for the SD 35 special election, the municipal runoffs if necessary, and the runoff for SD 35 special election if necessary.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the board concerning this petition?
I have one question. if you were to move forward with your in-person meeting, is there any difference in the data that would be made available to board members?
No, not in Cobb.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any further questions for Ms. Fisher? Any further comments from the board? The chair would entertain a motion on this petition.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, I move to accept the petition for waiver for Cobb County.
Dr. Johnson has made a motion to accept the petition for waiver from Cobb County. Is there a second?
Second.
Member Jeffries has seconded. I will call out the names for voting since I cannot physically see everyone at this time. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, Dr. Johnson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Member Gazal, how do you vote?
Aye.
Member Jeffries, how do you vote? Member King, how do you vote?
She's on mute.
Yeah, Member King, you're on mute at this time. Member King, are you available online? Well, not being able to correspond with Member King, the motion carries by a vote of 3-0. And the petition is accepted.
Thank you all very, very much for taking this up.
Sorry about that.
That's right. The next item on the agenda is the petition from Fulton County for a waiver of this rule. Ms. Brumbaugh, you're presenting that today?
Yes.
Would you like to present it? And then I believe after you present, there's a comment from Member Jeffries. So.
Do you want me to read it the way Ms. Fisher did, or just start presenting?
It's 2 pages, right?
Yes.
Can you read it real fast? I just, for the record, I'd like to have it since we don't have copies. I'd just like to have it on, for the record.
All right. Okay. This is an amended petition because the original petition I submitted had a somewhat substantial typo. Amended petition for waiver of State Election Board Rule 183-1-12-.12F with regards to the November 18th, 2025 Senate District 35 special election. Paragraph 1. Whereas State Election Board Rule 183-1-12-.12F, otherwise known as the SEB rule, requires the Fulton County Board of Elections to meet at 3 p.m. on the Friday following each election, special election, primary, special primary, and all runoffs therefrom, otherwise known as the pre-certification meeting. And paragraph 2, the Fulton County Department of Elections, in conjunction with the Cobb County Department of Elections, is conducting a special election for Senate District 35, otherwise known as the special election, on November 18th, 2025. And paragraph 3, the pre-certification meeting required pursuant to the SEB rule for the November 18th, 2025 special election will fall on Friday, November 21st, 2025, which is the Friday before Thanksgiving. And paragraph 4, if the results of the special election require a runoff, such runoff shall be held on December 16th, 2025, and the pre-certification meeting required by the SCB rule would occur at 3 p.m. on December 19th, 2025, which is the Friday before Christmas. And paragraph 5, the turnout for the special election is expected to be light. And paragraph 6, in addition to this special election, the Fulton County Department of Elections will be conducting the November 4th, 2025 municipal elections and Public Service Commission special elections and any runoffs therefrom. And paragraph 7, in addition to the SCB rule, the practice of the Fulton County Board of Elections has been to permit any individual board member to begin canvassing the Friday after the election as early as 9 a.m. And paragraph 8, on October 22nd, 2025, the Cobb County Board of Elections requested a waiver of the SCB rule with regards to the special election, and the State Election Board voted to post the waiver in compliance with OCGA Section 5013-9.1E. And paragraph 9, the Fulton County Board of Elections submits this petition as its request for a waiver of the SCB rule for the special election and any subsequent runoffs, showing the following. Paragraph 10, Pursuant to OCGA 5013-9.1C, the purpose underlying the SEB rule is to enable members of the county boards of elections sufficient time prior to certification of an election to review records from that election. However, independent of the SEB rule, any member of the Fulton County Board of Elections may begin canvassing at 9 a.m. on the Friday after the election. Therefore, the purpose of the SEB rule can be achieved without requiring the pre-certification meeting. Paragraph 11. Pursuant to OCGA Section 5013-9.1D, the Fulton County Board of Elections respectfully requests that the State Election Board vote to waive the SEB rules pre-certification meeting requirement for the special election and any runoffs therefrom. There is a substantial hardship to require an additional pre-certification meeting on the Friday before Thanksgiving and possibly the Friday before Christmas, given the light attendance in the election, as well as the meetings and duties required by the November 4th election and any runoffs therefrom. The Fulton County Board of Elections will still meet to certify the special election on the Mondays following the election and runoff, and individual board members may begin canvassing at 9 a.m. Friday morning prior to the Monday certification. The Fulton County Board of Elections believes that given the anticipated light turnout in this election, there will be more than sufficient time to canvass the results of the special election and any runoff therefrom prior to certification without the need for the pre-certification meeting required by the SEB rule.
Thank you. Do you have any comments you want to make? And then I believe Member Jeffries has a comment question for you. Do you have any? Member Jeffries?
I do have a question. This is going to be contained in the same sentence. I think they should read the same. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so Sarah, I'm going to ask you a question. It sounded okay to me, but I just kind of think they ought to be the same.
The problem is any petition that we would vote on must be posted for 15 days prior to the vote. So if you change the petition, we would have to start that process over again. And by that point, it would be moot because we would have reached, I think, the date of the first pre-certification meeting.
Okay,
Now,
I kind of thought that.
I noticed one thing. I'm sorry, Member Jeffries, did you have any more questions?
No, that was it.
Yeah, I noticed, I believe there's one difference. Cobb County is able to transmit their documents electronically. And my understanding is that Fulton County cannot do that. So
Yeah.
how would you propose that be done, Ms. Brumbaugh?
Well, at this time, I don't have the authority to, essentially, well, let me back up. The reason that the Fulton County request did not mirror the Cobb County request originally is because at the August 29th Fulton County Board of Elections meeting, the board voted 5-0 unanimously to pass a canvassing policy. This was a canvassing policy that was worked on for about 8 months. It was the prime writer was former board member Michael Heekin, but it was a bipartisan board policy, and they voted 5-0 on August 29th. And it is a pretty specific policy. It lists the documents that will be given at the pre-certification meeting. But it also states in the policy that there will not be any electronic transmission, any photocopying, any physical transmission, or any showing, to non-board members. So based on that policy, I couldn't write a petition that way unless the board was willing to waive that policy for this petition, for the purposes of this petition. The board did ratify this policy at its meeting last week, I think, if memory serves me. There was a discussion about this difference with the Cobb County petition, and at that time, the majority of the board did ratify the petition as written. So I would have to, Ms. Gazal is correct. Certainly, the board could not, even if the board wished to, they couldn't amend their petition, vote to waive their policy for this, that there's not enough time before next Friday, which is when the pre-certification meeting is. The board possibly could consider that at the, in time for the runoff, should there be a runoff. But again, they already addressed this at their last meeting when they ratified. They did address this issue and when they ratified the petition.
Did I hear you right that you said that they discussed the differences between the Cobb petition and Fulton petition?
When they ratified it at the meeting, I think it was last week.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the board for Ms. Brumbaugh?
Yes, Ms. Brumbaugh, are there going to be materials that would be made available during the pre-certification meeting that would not already be available to the board members in person, because as opposed to electronically?
Well, so the policy specifies which documents are available. It's the election night summary report, unofficial and incomplete, the numbered list of voters and the voter participation report, numbered list of voters for absentee, advance in person, and election day on a laptop in Excel format, sortable by voter registration number, method of voting, and precinct. Statement of votes cast by precinct, unofficial and incomplete, scanner result tapes, advanced voting and election day, and the Garvis ePulse voter check-in report, advanced voting and election day. I would also just state that one of the reasons the policy, I believe, I was not involved in the drafting of this policy, but certainly this policy is consistent with, at times, the letter and also the spirit of the election code, which does seek to protect the secrecy of the ballot and also the secrecy of various documents. Specifically, Code Section 21-2500 requires that the list of voters be sealed after the election, and SCB Rule 183-1-12-0.13 requires that the signed scanner tapes be sealed after certification. So these are documents that are being provided. They were provided as early as 9 a.m. on the Friday before, and I would also state for the record that the board, they don't have to meet until 3, but they meet at 11 on these Fridays. So there is ample time given for the members to review these documents, which do need to be by law put under seal after certification. And again, this was a 5-0 decision. It was unanimous, it was bipartisan, and it's really to protect, like I said, any kind of inadvertent leak or we don't want voter information becoming public. And so this is how we've chosen. I would also state that the board members, if any board member, again, wants to come in before the meeting, they are given calculators, they are given significant staff support so that to make this as easy as possible.
I appreciate that. Specifically, what I wanted to know is there anything that they would be able to access only in that meeting that they cannot access earlier in the day? Because I know that you're saying that all these materials are being made available from 9 o'clock. Is there something special that the meeting provides that is not already being provided to the members?
No.
Other than a quorum?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have questions.
I'm sorry. Oh, Dr. Johnson, yes.
Yes. I have questions. I don't understand how the largest county that has 800,000 registered voters can be adequately canvassed and reviewed before certification with a pencil and a piece of paper, with the board members not having access to look at these on electronically and review and compare, because they're tasked, they're instructed to look at who voted and compare that to the electors list, and to only have a pencil and a piece of paper and these vast databases on a laptop to look at for a few hours does not appear to me to be an adequate way to canvass an election. And it sounds like these reports are just made available as if Dominion voting system is providing the canvas rather than the Board of Elections. So I just don't understand how it's okay for Cobb County to receive documents such as the numbered voter list from No Inc. and Jarvis, and the statement of votes cast, and the summary report, and the electors list. But Fulton County, the largest county, does not have the same documents to review. And I don't buy the idea about public or private or the protection of the voter. It's the only thing that should be private is how you vote. It's not whether you vote or whether you're on the voters list. So I take issue, and plus this is not uniform. This is not a uniform way to canvass or conduct elections, which the canvass is a very important part of the conduct of the election. I'd like to hear from my fellow board members, their opinion about this.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, absolutely. Member Gazal.
This meeting is to vote up or down on a petition. This is not a meeting to review a county's process. It is simply to determine whether or not we choose to waive a meeting requirement. That is not, and that is what was published as part of the open meetings requirement. That is the agenda of this meeting, is to vote up or down on a petition. If we want to examine canvassing processes, that is a different issue, a different subject, and requires a different notice.
I do have one question. Ms. Brumbaugh, did you, back to the vote that took place, Fulton County voted to only provide these documents via, or they can't provide them electronically, right?
They provide them in person. I think that the statement of votes cast and the documents that are public, such as the statement of votes cast, it's my understanding that those can be provided, but the rest of them are not provided electronically. And again, that's the policy that they agreed to, 5-0, and it is also consistent with the code and the SEC
Excuse me, 5-0. How many members are on their board?
At the time, there were 5.
Oh,
This
at the
was in
time.
August, before Mr. Heekin.
Right.
pulled off.
How many are on the board now?
4.
Why are there just 4?
The replacement for Mr. Heekin has not been confirmed.
All right, any further questions pertaining to the petition itself?
Yes, I see that there is a Fulton County board member present. And
Ms. Adams, yes.
could we hear from that board member?
This board has the right to ask whatever questions they would like to. Ms. Adams?
Thank you. I want to address the 5-0 vote. Mike Heekin has been, for the whole time he's been on the board, he has been trying to pass a canvass policy. He could not stay on the board because he's having health problems. He begged me to vote for it, and he wanted to do it before he left the meeting. It was a mistake that I voted for it. But prior to that, we already had in place that we couldn't get anything electronically. I mean, the meetings, we're not allowed to use electronics. We're not allowed to use phone, and we're not allowed to get copies of anything, and we can't get anything electronically.
Mark Davis.
So the problem with this is it's hard enough for us to certify. I mean, the way we do it is ridiculous. I had a couple of notes that I wanted to put on, show on screen. But this is how it works. First of all, I want to tell Ms. Brumbaugh that we've never seen the numbered voters list ever. So that is in the policy, so that is a problem. But with a pen and a pad of paper, we are supposed to, by law, compare the precincts, and we have 147 precincts, And within those 147 precincts, there are 444 precinct code numbers. That means that we have to get from the 444, combine it with the 147 to see if a precinct is right or wrong. When you take all the vote methods that we're to compare, to get the votes cast, you have to write down 2,664 numbers. Then you have to put those 440 precinct code numbers into the precincts. This is very time consuming. And again, this is in written form. Then when we look at the votes, the list of voters, which is not the numbered list of voters, we have 147 precincts and 444 precinct code numbers. When you take the vote methods and the totals, that's writing down 2,664 numbers. And putting those 440 precinct codes. Oh, I am sorry. Oh, that was my smoke detector. I hope we're not burning down here. It's very time consuming to put those 444 precincts into the 147 precincts. And Ms. Brumbaugh is incorrect. These laptops that they prepare for us are not sortable in any way. So when okay, still not burning down. Not sortable in any way. So when you have to take, by law, you're supposed to look at the list of people who voted in the election, the unique list, and see if anyone has voted twice. You look for duplicates. This is by law. There's no way you could do it. You'd have to write down everybody's voter registration number and then look one by one at them to see if anyone voted twice. Again, the numbered list of voters has never been supplied, not once. And I am so sorry. I don't know what's going on. And there's another thing that I'm very concerned about. The numbered list of voters, we are supposed to have that. This past election, we received the voter participation history report. And for the first time, we got the Jarvis ePulse report as well. We got that in the pre-certification meeting, and the numbers were wrong. And when we came in for certification days, the Jarvis ePulse report was the only one that we had. So another concern that I have that's off topic, but on this election.
Well, if it's off topic, I would rather stay on topic if you don't mind.
I'm just going to say one sentence.
Okay.
I promise it's just one sentence.
Okay.
We were off by 171 votes. The totals were off by 171. And it was explained to us that these were, at our last meeting, that these were because we were in some of our polling locations, we're accepting votes from other counties. And it's explained that it's a location thing. It's on the edge of the county. But not only does this seem wrong to me, but it also does make it harder to compare the numbers.
Thank you. Any further questions from this board on this petition?
I have one question, and that is whether any other board members were afforded the opportunity to speak. Perhaps Attorney Brumbaugh, can you speak to that?
I did send the link this morning before the meeting began. I also, when we ratified, I did tell them at the meeting last week. At that point, I knew you'd set it for today, so I did provide them both orally, and then this morning I gave them the link.
Thank you. No other questions?
Mr. Chair, could I make a comment that I think is pertinent for the context of approving or disapproving?
Pertaining to Fulton County?
Yep. We are sharing this election. The outcome should be a shared concern.
Okay.
I know how long it takes me electronically to go through. I start when I get these documents on Friday. It took me all weekend to go through these documents to compare everything. And I confirm the same thing that Julie saw, which is these out-of-county votes, because I did not only compare the documents I was given, I compared them to our Georgia voter rolls. And we had 47 inconsistencies in those numbers. I don't know how you can do that by simply looking at a document in a short period of time, unless you're going to spend the night down in South Fulton. I'm just saying. And I think it's all of our responsibilities when running an election that we make sure these numbers are correct. So I just wanted to say that for context, because not that I'm the fastest person or the smartest person, but I've been looking at these documents prior to ever being on the board, and it's very time consuming if you're doing a thorough job.
Yeah, I appreciate that comment. The thing is that Fulton County has put these policies in place, whether you agree with them or not. Fulton County voted to, not provide these things electronically, and that's Fulton County's issue, not the state election board's issue at this point, frankly. I mean, they run their elections. So are there any further questions from the board pertaining to this petition? The chair will entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the petition and waive the requirement for the pre-certification meetings.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Chair will entertain any other motions.
Mr. Chair, I move that we decline or reject the motion for the petition for waiver for Fulton County.
Is there a second?
Second.
I think that Member Jeffries came in first on that one. So there's a motion second to decline the petition. All those in favor of decline signify by saying aye. Oh, actually, I will have a voice. I will have a called vote. I'm sorry, discussion, Member Gasol.
Just to reiterate a comment from Ms. Brumbaugh, there is absolutely nothing that will be made available in this meeting that is not already going to be made available. So this is literally just a pro forma requirement to have a quorum there when the materials are going to be made available all day. So that's what we're voting for.
Thank you, Member Gasol. Any further discussion? The motion has been made and seconded to deny the petition by Fulton County. I will call members out to vote since we are not in person. Member Johnston, how do you vote?
Aye.
Member Gasol, how do you vote?
Nay.
Member King, how do you vote?
Aye.
Member Jeffries, how do you vote?
Aye.
The motion carries 3-1. The petition is denied. There is no other items on the agenda to come before this board. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your attendance.